Cameron has consistently been telling Zadia that she should take her affections and turn it in the direction of another man. In fact, he encourages her to date other men.
Only one problem with what you said.
What's that?
He keeps saying that he wants a relationship with her. But that's a mixed signal for your ass if I've ever seen one. Stop me when I'm lying.
Welcome to Cliff Alerts.
Today we're going to be talking about Own Network's reality-based TV series, Ready to Love, Make a Move, season number 1, episode number 9.
So this episode begins with Vern and player Mizell.
Legend in his own mind.
And Mizell is trying to convince Vern that there was some misunderstandings.
Yeah, but she also looked like she had a tube walking in that
Well,
door
of
with
course,
Mr. Mizell.
she was exposed. So
Mm,
now she calls him a liar, but
mm.
she didn't know that he didn't she know he was a liar prior to him asking her for a date. She asked myself if
Think about that now.
is he still feeling Sharice. So what does he say? He said that yeah, he's still feeling Sharice. In fact, he thought she was the one who was coming. And you talk about a crash and burn situation going on in Vern's spirit at that moment when she heard it. She was about to light his behind
I,
up.
I thought she was going to reach across, lunge across the table and hook him up. That's what I thought.
But she kept it cute.
And classy.
And
Non-confrontational with the hand.
she said she doesn't have to do that anymore. So she thanked him for the date.
Yeah, but wouldn't it have been fine? This just real cool to kind of see
No, no.
see what kind of combination she can come up with.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
See if she got the head movement too.
She made her exit, and that was the end of Mizell. Charisse had a date, and she had a date with
Maurice brought
Maurice.
him back. The non-talkative, non-conversational brother.
Where do they meet? At a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Maurice still keeping that food vibe going.
I ain't mad at the brother for doing that.
Once they serve him, all conversation is it's a wrap on the
Yeah,
conversation.
like he lose focus, don't
He does.
he? Hmm.
So he said he needs to step up his game.
Yeah,
He's been thinking about her a lot.
he's doing more than that
She said that he has been texting and
every day.
calling her, I
Mm-hmm.
believe,
They're putting in that
and
work.
he is trying to separate himself from the pack, so to speak.
Mm.
And you could see Charisse likes the idea of an attorney with his own firm and a dude who rocks the suits and yada yada
Yeah,
yada.
that's right. That's right in her wheelhouse. She likes the established brothers,
Yes.
sophisticated brothers.
Now, as it relates to the sexy stuff, she likes Nick
Mm-hmm.
because Nick is swole
Mm-hmm.
and both of them flirt with each other. Charisse likes what Nick presents. Ashley had a date with guess who? Kirsten.
A flashback to the past. Hey, and not only did she have I guess another date with him, brother rolled through with some chocolate and some roses
And a card
and a note.
apologizing
Right, right.
for what Ashley deemed as not fighting for her.
Kirsten kind of reminds her of some of the guys that she used to date that she was attracted.
She invited him to a set and he did not show up.
Right,
So
and he didn't
she,
call or do anything like that,
right.
right?
And since she cut him to the quick, I have no idea why she still thinks that, he's her everything.
Maybe because there's a physical attraction from her end.
Maybe so. She asked him whether in a relationship with her, whether he's going to keep on bringing the roses and the chocolates and the cards. And told her if she behaves herself.
In other words, there was a stipulation on tentative promise. Hmm?
Oh my God. Nadia and Richard sat down. He's a principal.
Richard was very complimentary of her and overly so from my vantage point.
She thought they had good chemistry.
Right. She did.
However, I didn't see anything like that. But they seem to be having a good date.
Yeah, and she said, if I'm remembering correctly, that there was a serious or definite vibe between the two.
Ashley meets up with Donald at a restaurant.
Mm.
Donald is trying to compliment her about her look and her lashes. She stops him cold. She said, "Oh, we passed that. I want to know about you and I." And then she keeps,
Yeah, where are we in our
where are
relationship?
we in our
You know that question.
relationship? That
That
question.
question.
And I have no idea that it was a good thing for a woman to be on a date with a man, having just met him, and for her to be constantly asking him that about her position in a full relationship.
In a
That
full relationship? Oh man. Okay. Well, let me say this. Once upon a time when I was single, I think I had that happen to me maybe like one or two times for somebody I
how
just met.
long were you in the relationship? How many dates did you have before that conversation came up?
Max two.
You ran for the hills, didn't you?
Well, I slid on outside exit door. It seemed like at the point in time, he was like, uh, I'm ready to find out where you at and whether that's you, you serious, blah blah blah. I ain't got no time to waste. I guess she was listening to her biological clock, I guess.
Oh,
And I'm like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm just trying to figure out, if there's any chemistry between us. And going out and talking is how you do that, right?
yes.
Yeah.
You said that men don't like to be pressed like that.
Yeah, or to be given like ultimatums. You know what I'm saying?
But I see nothing wrong with an
I
ultimatum.
know we've said that we've talked about this before. Right,
Right.
right.
But I guess the hard sell is what seems problematic at this point, just where they are right now,
Hmm.
having just maybe a few dates.
Way too early in the game. It's like the beginning of the second quarter, something like that.
I don't
Huh?
know. It's different now for people. People want answers now and connections now. And, if it doesn't work and there are red flags, they ignore it because they want what they want. She mentions that Kristen is on her coattails and basically telling him that she got options and he better come
He got
correct
tightened up.
and he better express himself and say what he needs to because for her he's moving a little bit too slow and she needs someone who will be on the move to be 1000 like she is 1000. And then she threatened him a little bit if he doesn't come correct, she can slide out and get with Kristen.
At that point, from my vantage point, he's misusing the process.
Yes, she has
Misusing the
been for a
process.
while.
Mhm.
She tends to threaten people that she's the reason why they're here, and they better,
Recognize.
recognize that. Donald didn't seem too pleased how she was speaking to him. We hear Ashley ask questions about who the man is, what she wants, how she wants to level up, etc., etc., etc. Is her intentions only towards what the man can give her.
Not so much on camera. I don't think she's done much of that at all.
Reese hooks
Hmm.
up with
Nick.
Nick
Hmm.
and they met at a restaurant.
Hmm.
And of course, they're flirting,
Hmm. On.
low-key sexual stuff going on.
Hmm.
And he said that, they got to experience things that they've never done
Hmm.
together,
Like going on a
like
streetcar
going on the
ride in
streetcar
New
ride,
Orleans. Yeah.
and he wants to take her to a restaurant
Virgin Hotel or something like that.
there, and they're grinning and skinning with each other, and it is what it is.
Zadie and Cameron go out on their eighth date.
And Zadia looks happy.
Zadie has said, I feel it's getting closer and closer together, and that I'm beginning to trust Cam Run
with my heart.
with my heart.
Yes, I'm being vulnerable out here,
Right.
and
Out
it's
here in the
and
streets.
haven't been like that for a long time.
So in her mind, they making serious progress.
In her mind, her search has stopped because he is it.
Right.
She tells him that she believes that he is the one that she wants.
Mhm.
He said, although she's been set up on other dates, she doesn't want to go because, she's settled on him.
Hmm.
She likes him a lot.
Yeah, but then she was.
His follow through from hearing that is, well, what are you going to do with your time? You really need to try to date other brothers because you got to keep your options open.
Yeah, and then at that point in time, you kind of saw her what? uh,
Her
Put her face
face
back.
was melting.
Right. I thought it was cracking and breaking up.
Well, same thing.
But
She was hurt by what she said.
well, I think she was caught off guard and a little disappointed with it because of what she had just said prior to in her confessional
Right,
about where she kind of feels like they're moving.
right.
Yes.
Clearly, she finally heard him. And then he said, well, I'm on the grind, and maybe in 1 or 2 years, I could have time to invest in a relationship, getting serious with each other.
And the thing about it that would come up naturally in the form of a question from Zadi is this. Well, then if this is, what you've been saying and feeling, and it's where you are, then why would do you continue to tell me that you want to pursue a relationship with us? And
Exactly. Yes. He didn't remember when he came to the house last week and he sat her down. That was the time to say, I can't do this. And because she asked him, do you want to continue? And he said, yeah, I want to continue. When he should have said, no, I cannot continue because it's too much heavy lifting and I need to focus on work. But he didn't say that. If the right woman shows up for Cameron, who lives in New Orleans, who's established, who got something going on, I don't see him not making a decision to form some sort of attachment with her.
I agree with that part of it. I think, for all intents and purposes, um, he views Zadi as, even though he may have caught a few feelings for her, he views her as something to do right now, for
Right,
the here and now.
right. Because a man makes time for what is important to him.
Yes.
No question about that.
Yeah, and that's the confusing part of this because like I said, he's saying that he doesn't have the time, but what he's showing is that he does have the time.
Zadia is still who she is in DC when they did Ready to Love. And I think she's keeping it on the down low because she wants to hook up with Cameron.
So a brother doesn't end up being shook.
Exactly.
I got it. I got
Because you see that personality comes up when she is in dispute with Charisse. Cameron's gonna get some of that heat.
it.
That's not gonna be reserved only for other people.
Vernisha, she reconnects with Tabari.
Jabari said that he doesn't come there often, but
Hmm.
it's a special place.
Hmm.
So he wanted to up his game and invite her
He
to the
wanted to
spot.
impress his sister.
Yes. So they sat down and he's telling her all the good things about her and how their relationship will work. And they talk about their relationship with God.
Right. And
And she was happy that he did have a relationship because she said that was important to
I
her.
thought it was a very flirtatious type of meeting.
Okay.
I did. And that's a good thing. Tamika meets with the ladies back at the house to find out how their dates went this week.
Cherise talked about herself and Maurice.
Yes.
She said they had a great date, that he
Mhm.
was thinking about her, that he made her feel good, and she liked hooking up with Maurice.
Right. And basically, she saw a more serious side to him this
Mhm.
go around, and that she was more or less, I guess, not only intrigued but wanted to delve more into that.
Daria said that her date was with Cameron was a little off-putting, and She explained to the ladies what he said to her, and she feels like he is sending her mixed messages. They all had their commentary to add, and Tamika said that she needs to find out exactly what's going on.
Ashley got a chance to hook up with Kirsten again.
Yes, and
Mhm.
she talked about
The
the
chemistry,
chemistry
right,
between them.
right, and how that's kind of got her thinking more than just twice about reconnecting with him.
Yeah, but she's still looking at him sideways. She's the trust factor is not there for her and Kristen.
Vern got a chance to talk with Tamika and the group about her meeting with Mizell. She seemed like she was disgusted.
She mentioned to Cherise that Mizell still wanted to get with her, and Cherise said, "Well, that's a hard no.
Very hard, no.
She won't be hooking up with Mizell anytime soon."
Mm-hmm. Zadia talked about Richard too, right? Mm-hmm.
She claimed he's a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
They had some level of chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
and she hopes to go on a date with him again.
Then Tamika says, "Okay, y'all know the drill. You gotta invite the not only the dates that or the revisit dates, but also your keepers together to the house tonight for a mixer and decide which ones you're gonna keep."
Vern talking with Jabari,
Yes,
and she was
she had a tune.
salty
Yeah, she had a tune with him.
that he did not text her or call her. He eventually apologized for not texting and calling her.
Yeah,
Basically, she told Jabari that although that happened, perhaps he needs to learn and curve how to do this stuff, and she's gonna
have a
help
brother
him.
around and help him out with that.
Yes.
Mhm.
So she decided to keep Jabari.
Zadia had Tamika kind of intercede on her behalf and have a private one-on-one conversation
Cameron.
with Cameron. Right.
And she
She kind of read
told
him the riot act, didn't she?
she told Cameron one he could be playing games with Zadia, or two he may like her. She said love her,
Be in love with her and
be
not
in
know
love
how
with
to
her,
deal
and
with
not know how to deal with it.
it. No,
And
I don't think
Cameron
about.
didn't look impressed. He said, "Well,
He's just trying to manage his
he's been
time.
trying to manage his time,
Hmm.
and that he has been telling her exactly what he's doing and where he is, and he has been explaining that to her, but she is not hearing him." And Tamika told him that perhaps he need to be a little more
Intentional and
intentional
direct
about
and honest.
what he's saying,
Right.
because
Very
he
clear.
admitted that he does have some kind of feelings for Zadia,
Right, but he's a little
but he's
scared about
scared and anxious about
the long-term
the long term,
implications
yes, the
of a
long
potential
distance stuff. He goes back and talks to
Zadia.
Zadia, and
Uh-huh.
Zadia spills a drink. So she goes and change, and she comes back to talk to Cameron.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, Nick and Charisse are at another table,
Hmm.
and Nick is breaking his
He
neck
damn sure did. He twisted it all the way around.
to look at
180
Zadia when
degrees.
she came through and sat down with Cameron.
And this
And
was
I'm
right
like,
next to
and
Sharice.
Charisse is right there.
He wasn't even trying to be clever with it.
Right.
It was
Whatever. It was a
overt,
hard turn.
obvious, and right there in front of her face.
Ashley sits down with Donald, implying that Donald may be a little bit slow and boring for her aesthetics, but she decides to keep him around. Ashley is too much for Donald.
It seems like in so many unnecessary respects, it's too performative.
We don't know who she is.
Right.
We are talking about a personality that she has created
And that we see on a
that we
screen.
see on the screen, but we don't know who she is.
Yes, yes.
And the personality
In all fairness, yeah, we
is
don't know.
not her true representative.
Right, and that's part of the persona that she's adopted to be able to protect
Who she is.
herself from, from having to reveal who she is and potentially be vulnerable and be hurt.
Charisse was sitting down with
Yeah,
Nick,
yeah.
and he was breaking his neck to look at Zadia. So we don't know what kind of conversation they had. They're gonna put it off for next week.
Right, just like they did the conversation with Zadia and her decision regarding Canada.
We thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing.
Yep.
and we appreciate your time.
Mhm. See y'all next